Like so many other people who grew up in the early 2010s, Minecraft was a constant presence throughout most of my childhood. From playing it on my iPod Touch with my friends after school to enjoying the online battle mode in the Wii U edition, I spent a whole lot of time building and crafting when I was younger. So it's not surprising that I have a lot of fond memories of this game, even though I never made it very far in any of my survival or creative worlds. Its simplicity allows for total player freedom, making it the perfect playground for a young me to pour a ton of hours into. The majority of my Minecraft experiences were with the Legacy console editions, which have since been left in the past as the franchise moved towards a more unified Bedrock release that was consistent across all platforms. This might very well be the single most talked about game on the entire internet, but the beauty of Minecraft is that everyone has entirely unique stories to share. So join me as I reminisce on my time with this game by sharing some of those stories that only I can. Hello and welcome back to Nostalgia Rewind, the series where I take a look back at some of the games I feel most nostalgic for and see how they hold up now. Today's game is Minecraft. My earliest memories of Minecraft are of watching my older brother play the Java edition on our extremely slow PC that ran on Windows Vista. We had pretty limited game time back then, with each of us only getting an hour per week, 30 minutes on Saturday and 30 minutes on a weekday, so watching one of my siblings play something was almost just as good as playing it myself. While I usually spent my precious game time on either Pop Tropica or the Wii, my older brother put a ton of his time into Minecraft survival mode. I have such vivid memories of his world's layout, and I loved watching him explore and create the ultimate home base. I was pretty young at the time, so seeing the way he planned out the mine underneath his house or the farm just outside it seemed like such high-level gameplay. The few times I did play Minecraft on that PC, I just messed around in creative mode since survival scared me. I remember making a small house in the middle of the endless emptiness of a blank world, and trying to make a roller coaster that didn't work since I didn't know what redstone was. The game never really grabbed me at this point, as games like Wii Sports Resort and Mario Kart Wii were just a lot more interesting. However, I did enjoy watching a few Minecraft YouTube videos on repeat, specifically Fallen Kingdom and Revenge. These amazing, overly dramatic music animations were pretty much the only online Minecraft content I enjoyed, as I never really dived into the internet Minecraft scene in the way that I know so many other people did. But I do also remember seeing a fake trailer for Minecraft 2 at some point and fully believing it was real. Around this time, my brother found out about the existence of Minecraft mods, so of course I begged him to download a dragon mod since I was absolutely obsessed with dragons as a kid. It worked for about 10 or 15 minutes, and watching my brother fly around the skies on the back of a dragon was incredible until our computer crashed. Turns out we downloaded a virus and our whole PC had to be wiped and reset, meaning that was kind of the end of any of us playing Minecraft Java Edition since all of our worlds were gone. A few years later, my best friend got an Xbox One for Christmas from his grandma to the dismay of his very skeptical parents, and pretty much the only game he and his 4 brothers played on it was Minecraft Xbox One Edition. Well, that and Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare for some reason. I had played Minecraft at his house a few times on their various Apple devices, but getting to play it on a TV with a controller in my hand made it feel so much grander and more important. It's sort of hard to describe, but the console editions had a very distinct vibe compared to the Java or Pocket editions I'd previously experienced. I think part of that were the more polished menus and the pre-made skins to choose from, along with the possibility of split-screen play. There was a mix of me getting to play myself and just watching my friend and his brothers play, but those times in his basement with Minecraft on the Xbox One were so much fun. This game has a tendency to create such memorable moments that turn into great stories. Whether it's stealing someone's diamonds or screaming at each other because you can't go to sleep until they do, the lack of any narrative structure allows for your own personal stories to take the spotlight naturally. Oftentimes, the best part of Minecraft isn't the game itself, but the people you play it with. We would spend hours just messing around in the tutorial world because it offered a huge playground to run around in so we could create our own fun scenarios. Also, as a general piece of advice, always build defenses around your house when playing with other people so they can't lure a creeper in and blow up all of your hard work in an instant. The following Christmas I got my very own iPod, and Minecraft Pocket Edition was one of the first games I bought. After surviving off of a Kindle Fire for far too long for a middle schooler who needed to fit in with everyone else at the lunch table, finally having a truly modern smart device with all the coolest games available was incredibly exciting. This is where I finally started really getting into this game, thanks to survival mode. Since I was older now and not quite as scared of, I finally clicked with this game in a single player context. But where most people might put all their time into just one world, I started a habit of making a fresh new world, running around until I find the perfect place for a house, building up a decently sized base and getting comfortable, and then starting the whole process over again once I got bored. The early hours of a new survival world were easily my favorite part of this game. Nothing beats the feeling of exploring a landscape that no one else has ever seen, and working your way up to feeling confident to take on a skeleton without dying. I played a ton of Pocket Edition alongside legends like Geometry Dash and Sortigo, and also kept playing the Xbox One edition at my friend's house. When the battle mode got added in an update, I spent every afternoon I could over there for a while battling my friend and his brothers in split screen since online required Xbox Live Gold. Probably the most interesting part of this mode was discovering all the secrets of the lobby area. There were all these hidden levers and buttons placed around the town, and it was actually pretty difficult to reach some of them. I remember trying this very simple jump over and over again, as my friend would try to mess me up by closing the trapdoors right before I landed on them. It genuinely felt like we were solving mysteries no one else knew existed, and it was thrilling to finally make it to the other side of those iron doors. The Hunger Games style arena matches were incredibly fun and replayable, with some surprisingly epic music that made every final duel feel like the coolest moment of my entire life. I was envious of the console editions because of this amazing new mode, and wished there was a way for me to play battle mode on my iPod. And later on in the year, I was shopping at Walmart with my parents when we walked past the video game aisle and I saw it behind the glass. The answer to all my problems. Somehow I had no idea that Minecraft was available on Wii U, as I wasn't exactly tapped into video game news at the time. So seeing that physical copy at Walmart was an unexpected moment of joy and one of the only times that I can remember buying a game immediately after figuring out it existed. That happened early in the morning, and I would go home and play this game for more than 10 hours on the first day. I mean, that's just concerning, and a bit sad. I would eventually go on to put over 75 hours into this version of Minecraft, making it my most played version of the game by far. I think battle mode was the main driving force of why I put so much time into this version, as finally getting to play against other players online since Nintendo's Online was free was a game changer. This mode is genuinely a blast. Sprinting to the center to grab as much as you possibly can before heading out into the map to fend for yourself fills you with a sense of adrenaline that few other online games can match. My absolute favorite trick to try and pull off was jumping from the top of a high place into water to try and outplay the player who was chasing me, which rarely worked to be honest. Or trying to speedily parkour through a tough lava section to lose a tail. Learning the layout of the maps helped you stay alive since you could quickly move around while trying to run from or chase after someone else. Hitting a player with a bow and arrow from far away always felt amazing, and the sound effects that played when someone got taken out made the whole thing feel even cooler. Encounters can feel really visceral and intense at times, and I became addicted to trying to outlast my fellow 14-year-old opponents. The spectator system is super fun as well, as you turn into a small bat that can fly around and the players who are still alive can see you flying around like a madman. I have no idea how popular this mode was on a wider scale, but it was and still is easily one of my favorite parts of Minecraft as a whole. But I was also still creating a whole bunch of survival worlds, which never gets old no matter how many times I do it. Once you get the formula down, it becomes a very relaxing experience to manage everything and build something that feels like home. I even started messing around with some creative worlds too, which can be just as zen at times. Being so focused on creating something that lives up to the idea of it in your head can really pull you into a flow state. The music plays a huge role in this, and I've been playing it throughout the video for a reason, as words can't really explain how it feels to hear these songs. C418 created one of the best video game soundtracks of all time here, and it's a big part of what kept me playing for so long. After getting a shiny new Nintendo Switch for my birthday, for some reason one of the first games I bought was Minecraft Nintendo Switch Edition. I think at this point you can probably start to see why this is the highest selling game of all time, since this was the 5th version of the game I played. I was excited to have a portable version of the game I'd put so many hours into on Wii U, and you could even transfer over your data, which was nice. And it also looks and runs better, with a native 1080p resolution compared to the Wii U's 720p. This felt like an upgraded version of my favorite way to play Minecraft, and it's still my preferred way to play this game to this day. When I first booted up the battle mode to establish my place as the king of this new platform, there was a whole new lobby area that had been added in an update since I had last played. I was pretty sad when I discovered this, as I had so many great memories associated with the previous lobby. I had recently moved across the state and away from my friend and his brothers that I would play Minecraft with, so this felt like another sign of that friendship ending. But I was interested in finding a whole new set of secrets in between matches, and I eventually found all the right switches to turn off the water in the middle fountain to make it down to... When I first found this underground, broken down version of the original battle mode lobby, it was a strange mix of excitement and melancholy. I absolutely loved that they had included such a huge Easter egg of the place I had spent so much time in, but seeing it in this decayed state just reinforced those feelings of time and distance. The bright, happy place I was used to had now become old, forgotten, and abandoned. I might be the only person in the world who had an emotional reaction to this random Minecraft secret, but it's one of my strongest memories of my time with this game. I ended up playing the Nintendo Switch Edition for around 45 hours, and it was the last version of Minecraft that I spent a lot of time with. There was a Nintendo 3DS version released, but I never bought it. However, I did play like 5 hours of Cube Creator 3D back in the day, so I have very clear memories of this small area from the demo. Eventually they released the Bedrock Edition on Switch, which acted as a way to start bringing all the different editions of Minecraft into one version that was the same across all platforms. You could download the new version for free if you already had the Nintendo Switch Edition, but I didn't play it for very long before deciding that it wasn't for me. The menus looked and functioned much worse, and the whole game felt slower and full of weird glitches. The monetization also felt like even more of a focus, which is saying something since the Legacy Console Edition still had a ton of microtransactions. You also now had to sign in with a Microsoft account, which was a minor but very annoying change. Being able to play with players from across all platforms is a pretty cool feature, but I much preferred the original Switch release, and a big reason why was because they completely removed the battle mode, which was really disappointing. There were now a ton of servers to choose from to join titled Realms, but it was messy, cluttered, and complicated. The simplicity of the old console online play is why I put so much time into it, as I was never interested in joining other people's servers full of a ton of players. Basically, I'm not a big fan of the Bedrock Edition. For some reason, I just loved how the different editions used to all have their own vibe and feel, instead of this new homogenized release that dropped the subtitles altogether in favor of a simpler brand appearance. This is when I stopped playing this game for the most part, aside from the odd weekend binge spent on a new survival world with the Switch Edition. Fast forward a few years and it seemed like Minecraft had a huge resurgence online during the depths of the pandemic, but I missed out on that entirely. I didn't even know what SMP stands for until looking it up while writing this, and from the outside it seemed like Minecraft was evolving into something totally different from the game I was familiar with. The obsession with internet personalities and the stan culture surrounding them seemed pretty strange to me, but I don't want to discount the experiences of anyone who got into Minecraft during this period, as their time with the game during lockdown is just as valid as my hours with the console editions. The biggest Minecraft-related thing I remember during this time was Steve being added to Smash Bros, back when his reveal was just purely exciting and the competitive scene didn't even know it was coming. And that's pretty much the majority of my experiences with this game. I hadn't played it hardly at all in the past few years before working on this video, so returning to my survival worlds and playing a few battle mode matches has been a super fun trip down memory lane. I feel like I've always enjoyed this game a bit differently than a lot of other people, as I've never beaten the Ender Dragon or even made it to the Nether. My time in Minecraft is usually spent in those early parts of the game where finding another oak tree so you can finish the wood floor of your house is your biggest priority, and the other half of my focus was the minigames that are no longer part of the modern versions. It seems like so many people have stories of making online friends through Minecraft, but my time spent playing with others was entirely in person at my friend's house, and after that I pretty much only ever played this game by myself. Out of all the games I've covered in this series so far, this is the only one that's still being supported and talked about widely, aside from maybe a few of the mobile games. But even though the Minecraft community is still alive and well, even getting a recent movie adaptation that made far too much money, I checked out a long time ago. And when I do return, I only play the discontinued console versions that take me back to simpler times when I could put so much of my time and focus into playing games. When revisiting the childhood games I grew up with, I can go back to them years later and they look just how I remember them. But the truth is that they don't feel the same. Because that nostalgic attachment I have for these games isn't just for the digital worlds themselves, but for what my life was like when I was playing them. And returning to the old Minecraft worlds I still have access to has reminded me of that painful reality. The blocks are all sitting right where I left them, but the original intentions that put them there have been lost to time. Revisiting old favorites comes with this special sort of sadness of knowing those times are long gone, mixed with the happiness of the memories themselves. Even after making a whole bunch of these Nostalgia Rewind videos, I'm still no closer to understanding this emotion I find myself tapping into so often. It can be sweet and delightful, but also cold and isolating. And for whatever reason, Minecraft brings out a lot of the latter for me. I think a lot of that is due to its mellow and reflective soundtrack, alongside knowing I can never really return to the Minecraft I grew up with since everything has changed so much since then. It feels like the main source of motivation in this game is your own creative spark, so when you grow up and that spark fades a bit, returning to this game feels sort of empty. I can see the plan I had for building a massive Nintendo-themed amusement park, but I don't really have the drive to complete it anymore. The older I get, the hazier my memories of my childhood become, so the specifics of those randomly generated worlds I can no longer return to are starting to fade away, and that terrifies me. For the longest time it's felt like those happy times were right behind me, but recently it's felt like they're starting to drift out of sight. And if I can't remember them, who will? All these moments are things that only I experienced. Maybe it's the YouTuber in me that feels like I have to document and share everything that I value, or just that core fear of forgetting it entirely. So I guess I just have to hope that all those moments I'll eventually forget about will always be a part of who I am, even if I'm not conscious of it, and that I'll be able to replace them with new happy experiences in the future. I'm not exactly sure what it is about this game that gets me thinking so deeply about everything, but I don't think it's just me. This game has a strong presence that encourages reflection on easier, more carefree versions of ourselves that feel out of reach. I've read countless comments from across the internet that tap into a similar energy, so I don't think I'm entirely alone in feeling so painfully nostalgic for this simple kids game about building stuff with blocks. Minecraft has really stuck with me despite leaving it behind so many years ago. I'm endlessly grateful for my unusually great childhood that was full of fun and laughter, and as dumb as it sounds, games like Minecraft played a huge part in creating it all. I may not be much of a fan of what this game and brand have turned into over the years, but it's an undeniable part of my life that will always have a place in my heart. One of the things I've been thinking about recently is that I will eventually run out of games to cover for these Nostalgia Rewind videos, as I only have one childhood and I've already lived it. I'm honestly not sure if looking back on the past in such a romantic fashion does me more harm or good, but I do know that I've really enjoyed making these videos and having a reason to revisit these games. This has mostly just been my own personal stories with Minecraft and less about the game itself, so I hope that's okay. I figured that at this point this game has been talked about enough, so I might as well focus on the stuff that's unique to me. As always, I'd love to hear some of your personal memories of Minecraft, as I'm sure there are so many great stories out there. This game excels at giving you an open space to hang out in and mess around in, and memorable moments and stories are naturally created from that freedom. There's so much I love about this game, and in some ways I'm glad the console versions got left behind since they act as great time capsules for what Minecraft used to feel like. And I'm sure I'll continue to revisit this game in the future, as it's become a nostalgic comfort game that taps into unique emotions that remind me of times long past.